Mhm. Hello, this is Insane Monster, and this is part 2 of What If Deku Had Spiral Power. Now, when we last left off, Deku and Melissa just completed the UA entrance exam and found out that they got in. Though, later on, they were called by UA to come to the school a couple of days before the actual school day started. And once they got there, they met up with Principal Nezu, Recovery Girl, and All Might. All Might explains that they know about One for All and about Deku's particular power and its side effects on people around him. Though though they're even though we're not sure on the conditions on which it's affected people or categorized in. He's not sure how to really put it because it's all pretty weird to him. So we get to where Nezu says that says this. Obviously, your powers of evolving the quirks of others is quite impressive, but it can also be rather dangerous if certain people find out, especially if they were in the villain persuasion. Deku and Melissa do understand that, since not just Deku but Melissa are producing spiral power now, people that they get close to, that they trust, respect, or become friends and such, they end up now caught having the effect of making their quirks evolve. As for people without quirks, well, you know what happened with Melissa. So they explained some things to them and told them that to that if it does happen, then they will tell the class so they know what was going on, since it wouldn't be right to hide the fact that their powers are evolving due to your quirks. So pretty much that's what they're telling them. All Might saw them out, but as they were walking, Deku noticed something. He noticed All Might was slowly but surely generating spiral power. He thought All Might had a quirk, so that shouldn't be possible. But maybe the quirk that of All for One going away is he's not, though he's getting confused in his thoughts, thinking multiple different sentences without completing them, and then just decides to slyly take a small portion of his spiral power out that's beginning to generate, even if it's been doing it so slowly over these last 10 months of training. He would have expected to have emerged so already, but maybe even his wound might have something to do with it that's causing it to slow the progression of its development. So after Deku takes a piece of it, he grips it in his hand and it makes a tiny golden core drill. It goes into his body where Deku is starting to nurture it, feed it with his own spiral energy, which is converting it into All Might's brand of spiral energy that has yet to be awakened. As for when it will, we'll just have to wait and see. Well, technically, you will. As the school day comes up, Deku is all dressed and ready to go. But before he leaves his room, he sees Buta just kind of lying around, grabs him, and puts him on his shoulder, telling him, "Come on, now, today's the beginning of a whole new adventure for you. So cheer up, because you're sticking with me now." Buta began to pep up a little bit and went along with him. He got to UA, where he met up with Melissa near the gate. They continued looking for UA, It's class 1A, which once they found it, they were surprised by the size of how big the door was. And as usual, right when they opened the door, Bakugo was arguing with Ida right off the bat. Once everybody noticed them, they recognized who they were. The kid who destroyed the zero pointer and the girl who used some type of drill whips and such to destroy tons of robot and help plenty of examinees that got into trouble. Ida introduced themselves and telling him that he is a greater student than him, that he recognized a hidden criteria of the exam that he didn't notice. Which Deku just tried to explain that it wasn't like that. Then Ochako shows up and remarking that she can recognize that messy hair anywhere, thanking Deku for saving her from the zero pointer. He just says it's not a problem, and Melissa's kind of looking at him with a bit of a look, and Deku's just like, it's not with it, and Deku's looking at her with a face that says, "It's not what you think. I just helped her out." Which is when Mr. Aizawa tells them to be quiet while in his sleeping bag. He introduces himself as the teacher, complaining that it took him too long to get quiet. While after introducing himself and such, he told them to get their sports uniforms on and head to the field. They were asking about what about orientation. Mr. Aizawa just remarked that this is UA and that the teachers get to run the classes however they want. So it isn't a normal school, which they get. They start getting dressed and such, and Kirishima noticed Buta on Deku's shoulder, asking, Hey, hey, what is that thing on your shoulder? Deku just told him, Oh, this is Buta. Which Buta just did a little salute saying, Boo boo. Which Kirishima just said, Yeah, that doesn't answer my question on what it is. Uh, which Deku just told him, Well, you can think of it like a small quirk animal that has a quirk that makes it seem like a cross between a little mole and pig. So basically, a pig mole. Kirishima thinks that's actually kind of neat. And they end up going to the field. Oh, Mr. Aizawa throws the ball over to Deku, which he catches. And Aizawa told him that since he had the highest exam score, to throw the ball, but to keep himself from hurting himself like he did in the exams. But Deku's just sighing, saying, Right, don't worry, Mr. Aizawa. That only happened because I poured too much power out of my body all at once. So it just had a bit of a feedback effect that caused some damage. Mr. Aizawa answered with, Well, as long as it doesn't happen again to where you end up getting hurt, it should be fine. So Deku powers up his spiral energy and one for all, with green flames and lightning coming off of him. Everybody's seeing this, and Bakugo is a little surprised and wondering does he have green lightning now? It used to just be flames. The hell, man! And bulls on trucks it right into the sky, going, let's say, about 2,000 meters, shocking everybody. Everybody got excited that they were going to use their quirks for the physical exam, which then Aizawa says, "So you think it will be fun?" Explaining that the person who gets last place will be expelled. So everyone had to focus and work as hard as they could. And the tests go pretty easily for Deku and Melissa using their powers to enhance themselves. They knew that Melissa's quirk seemed similar to Deku's and actually they were related, but Melissa said no relation whatsoever. I mean, you've heard about the those water hoses heroes from back then. They had similar quirks, but they weren't related. To be fair, I'm actually dating Izuku, which the girls kind of just stare at her with the look that says, "Tell us everything." So Melissa's just kind of cornered. She just full on cornered herself in this mess all on her own. So, as the end result of everything, we have Deku in first place, Bakugo in second, Melissa in third. Melissa is in third for one. She hasn't fully gotten. She still has some trouble using her power to enhance her physical strength properly. She figures that it's just a power imbalance because sometimes she feels like more powers in some parts of her body than others. But she'll get the hang of it. And Bakugo's pissed that he didn't get first, saying, telling Deku that that he's gonna frick, that he's gonna beat him. As for last place, it was Mineta, though Mr. Aizawa stated that Mr. Aizawa stated that no one was actually going to be expelled, which surprised everyone, as Mr. Aizawa further explains that it was just something to get you to go all out and give it your all. Once that was done, everybody packed, get changed to get into their school clothes again. Some of the girls asked Melissa if they wanted to hang out after school, but Melissa said that she had some work to do after school, actually, explaining that with a bit of a flashback that uh, Principal Nezu talked to Melissa alone about a somewhat special club that UA does for the support course. And due to her background in creating support items, that she that her request to be entered into this quote unquote club that's unique to hero schools that do hero courses as well as support courses would be allowed for her to join despite being in the hero course. So she'll still do support item making, but more like a after school club kind of thing. Which they found that it's pretty impressive. Which they realized that her last name seems a lot like David Shield, the guy who made out all of All Might's hero costumes, which she confirms that's her dad, which just sends the girls to a shock and surprise while also being really excited to be having her as a part of their class. Once they go up, finishing school for the day, and though as the first day they didn't have the clubs didn't start up for a little bit on the first couple of days. So Deku and Melissa were heading home when they had Ida and Uraraka catch up to them. Uraraka still asked about the Deku thing, telling him, telling them that it's a name Bakugo calls him to mess with him, which is when Buta pops out, seeing Uraraka. Uraraka is instantly sees Buta and is kind of girling out on him, saying that Buta's cute. Buta just full on licks her, which surprises Uraraka, thinking he wouldn't have a tongue with enough reach for that, but still finds him kind of cute. So Buta's cheering up pretty good, and they go off to the train station. But unbeknownst to them, with their new friends and all that, we fade into a little black. We go to a little bit of a flashback as, or to a little bit of a background where we see the outlines of Deku and Melissa, as well as Ida and Uraraka, where a small sliver of energy comes from Deku and Melissa and goes into Ida and Ochaka, which will be something for later. That day, we get back to UA, where All Might bursts in saying, "I'm coming in like a hero," with his Silver Age costume, explaining that they were going to do combat training for their Hero Course class. They were all excited to get started once Anne opened up the drawers in the wall, revealing the cases of their costumes. Everyone got changed, and we do a little bit of a flashback. Though this time, Melissa, Deku, and Bakugo were talking about quirk costumes to work with their quirks. As so, Bakugo has a little addition, somewhat of a box thing on his back of his belt that holds something special. As for Deku, he has his black gauntlet things that cover his hands and up to his elbow, along with the ports on the side of the wrist, elbow, and on the palm for the drills to come out, as well as the jetpack that now has the Team Daigerin symbol painted on the back of it. He has a leather jacket to go with it, a red shirt underneath, with the same type of the metal mask he has in his updated version of his costume. Similar goggles to Simone when he was just Simone the Digger that would light up, showing him what's in front of him even if it's dark, while not blinding him. We continue on with a waist belt with other ports for drills to come out, and boots that have ports on the bottom of the foot, side of the ankles, side of the knees, even the front of the knees, and such. As for Melissa, she had a white ensemble with a skirt, similar ports on her costume, but the white costume with the skirt had a red tint uh, along with her gauntlets and her jetpack that had a flower mark on it, so that when light shined on it, it had a red glare to it on the white. She even had a set of goggles to go with her suit, uh, completely red, kind of a bright cherry red. With All Might saying that these costumes make here. Sorry, yeah, they say that clothes make the pros, and that you are the example of it, the proof, and all that. Then we begin the dividing of the teams. Once we get to that, the pairing are the same for Deku Bakugo partnering up with Ochako and Ida, though things go a lot differently. But Deku tells Ochako to go straight for the bomb and that he'll come find her later after dealing with Bakugo, since he'll probably go right for him first. Ochako asks his why. Bakugo just says, kind of a rivalry between us, and I'm pretty sure he's itching to prove himself after losing to me in the fitness exam. So Ochako agreed. Once Bakugo got to them, Ochako hurried up and ran to get to the bomb. Once they get, once Bakugo and Deku face off to one another, Bakugo yelled, "You're not winning this one, nerd," and started making his concussion bombs orbs floating around him, instantly shooting them right at Deku. Then Deku hurried up and fired his drill missiles. Bakugo's taken aback by that, saying, "Well, that's new. Never saw you do that trick before." Deku smirks, remarking, "Hmm, I didn't have the, I didn't have what I needed to do it." Which is when Bakugo noticed the glowing ports across his body. They fought back and forth, with Deku enhancing his strength to get some strikes on Bakugo. He started getting really annoyed, thinking, "Damn nerd. Alright, time to pull out the big guns." He pulls out the new the, he pulls out the support item that Melissa gave him a hint about when they were explaining some theories on different types of explosions. He connected them to his gauntlets that were filled to the brim through the fight that they've been having. It opened up, uncollapsing to make a type of funnel. Inside were multiple ports for an explosion to come out. Deku said, "Oh crap, you actually went with that? Seriously?" Melissa said, "Oh man, not that. I shouldn't have given him that idea." All Might asked her, "What is that?" She explained that it's a type of support item that works with his explosion quirk using the Monroe effect. Multiple explosions are set off inside that cone and then directed into a funnel stream to a direct target. The idea was to be used against a heavy duty villain that wouldn't easily be taken down. All Might yelled at Bakugo to stop, but it was too late. The explosion happened instantly. Deku put out his hand, and his power and himself reacted on instinct, not creating a normal drill, but if you've seen Gurren Lagann, then you know about the water drill. It created that. Basically, a spike with a spiraling blade going down in a drill shaped fashion. It started to spin rapidly as the spiral power shot out of the jetpack to keep him so he wouldn't get blown back. The force from this spinning drill caused a certain airflow strong enough to force the flames around Izuku, as well as some of the force. But the jetpack still needed to be blowing off a bunch of power to make sure he didn't get completely blown back into another building. When the smoke cleared, Bakugo was shocked to see that Deku only moved back about a couple of feet, saying, "Damn it, that, damn it, had to pull something new out again, huh?" Deku, uh, huffing and puffing, saying, "To be honest, this is the first time I produced this kind of drill." Sending it back. Then he said, "No more playtime." He starts charging up one for all with the spiral power, producing the flames and lightning, both being green. Going straight for Bakugo, slamming him in the gut with his knee. Propelled even faster with the jetpack, sending Bakugo clean through a wall. As for Uraraka and Ida, from the explosions and such, multiple pieces of rubble began to fall from the pillars and the roof of the area where the bomb was. Ochaka took advantage of that and tried to use it as a means of getting in Ida's way to obstruct his path of running away with the bomb. Though when Ida went to run away with the bomb in the path that was clear, Ochaka tried to reach out for him. But something else happened. The rubble that she made float began to fly straight towards Ida. Ida saw this and began to panic. But something strange happened with his engines. Green flames began to shoot out and started to make him go faster to avoid them. He didn't know what was going on. Neither of them did. They never did anything like that. Ida was shocked about how much faster he was than normal. And Ochaka never knew that she could do that with her gravity quirk. It didn't take long for Deku to come in. While Ida and Ochako were surprised, he knocked Ida back and away from the bomb, slamming him into a column, hurrying up and touching the bomb, allowing them to win. Things went similar in canon, although Melissa did end up working along with the villains to act as a more challenging event for the hero team, which her team did actually win. So we can, and once it's all done, All Might requests that Melissa, Deku, Ida, and Ochako meet the principal in his office along with him later. He hurries up and runs away, hurrying before his time runs out. Once he gets into the room and puts down, he says, "Oh, jeez, this is not good. I barely have time to teach a class now." Some time passes, and after school, they all meet up in Principal Nezu's place. Well, his office, you know what I mean. Where All Might stands, and along with Mr. Aizawa, who doesn't know what's going on, and Nezu and fills them in on Midoriya and Melissa's quirk, spiral power. And even that Melissa actually used to be quirkless, but evolved from Deku's spiral power. But since she didn't have a quirk to begin with, she produced her own. And the new effects of their quirks are most likely a evolved state after becoming close to both Deku and Melissa. Though they're not sure if this is going to be the full extent of what they can do. And to be prepared for any changes in their quirks and body that may occur. Their just jaw drops, thinking, "What?" They also fill them in that Bakugo has a similar effect since he grew up with Izuku, saying that if he hadn't, he would just be able to cause explosions from the palm of his hands instead of making those charges that Bakugo makes. As for Bakugo, he was reprimanded for using that dangerous thing indoors as well as on a classmate. Bakugo saying, Trust me, he's too stubborn to be done in by something like that, even if it is incredibly powerful. Which they couldn't argue, considering Deku got off with just a couple of singes on his hero costume, as well as some exhaustion. Though Bakugo was later filled in on the evolutions on Chaco's and Ida's quirks, what he just tells Izuku saying, Deku, what the hell? Can you really not control this thing? Honestly. Uh, well, at least it will make training a lot more interesting. And this is where we'll be ending this part of the what if for now. As I said in the other video that was uploaded earlier, I am doing 3 videos today due to the fact that I might not have power for a bit with a tropical storm coming up. So please remember to like, comment, and subscribe. Hope you enjoyed. Ring the notification bell for future updates, and have a good night. See you later.